Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on Kurukshetra monthly compilation, and I'll be discussing Kurukshetra for the month of September. So for this month edition, the entire journal focuses upon the tribal life and culture. We'll see some of the important article that is relevant in the journal for the month of September. And these type of article is going to be relevant for general studies paper 2, paper 1, and especially it will also contribute in the essay paper, right? तो आप इस तरह के जो important topics हैं मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में वहाँ पे ये सारे topics आपको contribute करेंगे. So what are the list of the topics or article that I'll be discussing? The first is educations for the tribal. Second, livelihood opportunities for the tribal. Third is the welfare of the tribal. Again, very important topic. And tourism potential in the tribal region. So before I start the session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purposes, do not forget to press the like button. So the first article, that is education for the tribal, will see how the government is working towards strengthening the tribal people by promoting good quality education. So when we talk about education, education is considered as a primary tool to uplift any underprivileged section of our society and to integrate them through the mainstream. So education is a tool, education is an option where any underprivileged section can be integrated with the mainstream. It's a very important tool to overcome the poverty challenges and any sort of problem in the society. So education was conceived as a means for promoting overall development for the tribes and also adopted as strategy for the mainstreaming them, right? So if you're writing specifically an opening introductions or statement, you can use this. Now the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, specifically the SC and ST peoples, continue to be in the lower than the other communities in the areas concerned. Now, genesis of educational policies and their focus on tribal education, किस तरह से education policies की genesis हुई है, how it has come into inception. So after independence, various commissions were constituted to study, review and analyze and recommend the desired contextual challenges in the educational system. बहुत सारे ऐसी कमिटियां का गठन की गई है, and these committees were actually interested to provide policies or recommendations that is helping the tribal people. So the first University Education Commissions was appointed by the Government of India in 1948 under the chairmanship of S. Radhakrishnan. A very important point for the UPSC prelims examination, right? And after this, the second Educational Commission was appointed in 1952 under the chairmanship of Dr. A. Lakshmana Swamy Muralidhar. So ये दो ऐसे पॉइंट हैं जो आपके प्रीलिम्स के लिए भी या फिर किसी और कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन के लिए काफ़ी रेलेवेंट होगी. Now talking about the scheduled area and scheduled tribe commissions. So the commissions of the tribal educations recommended for the formation of scheduled area and scheduled tribe commissions in 1961 under the chairmanship of UN Dibber, that is investigating for reporting the problem of the scheduled tribe. तो scheduled tribe के लिए जो problems थे उनको लिस्ट करना आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए यूएन देवर कमेटी बनाई गई. द कमीशन सबमिटेड इट्स रिपोर्ट इन 1961 और कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट रिकमेंडेशंस आई थी कमेटी की तरफ से विच कॉल्ड फॉर एजुकेशन बाय द ट्राइब बाय यूजिंग द वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज, जो वहाँ की लोकल लैंग्वेजेस है, वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेजेस है, दैट शुड बी एज अ मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शंस for supporting and training teachers for the tribal communities and the nearby places. Now this commission also suggested that promoting tribal culture and art by adding the folklore songs to the curriculum. So this all basically ये सारी चीज़ों को जो tribal cultures है उसको education में की main stream में लाने की कोशिश की गई. The commissions also identified the basic issues has to be there in the educational backwardness and the tribal communities are also the dropout student, right? तो dropout students के numbers को कम करने के लिए कुछ ऐसे important interventions भी बताए गए. Subsequently, after which a Kotari committee was there. So Kotari committee also supported the recommendations that were suggested by the Dibar committee, that is UN Dibar. Now there's a second national policy in education which was there in the year 1986. This was formulated to remove the disparity and inequality to bring education and opportunity for all. So access of education must be given to all. तो इसके लिए कुछ priority set की गई, and that priority was promoting tribal education such as establishment of primary school in the tribal area. This is the first important priority. Second is addressing the need for starting the modern residential school, including the ashram school for tribal students in our country. And third was starting the Anganwadi in the tribal hamlets. Now there are some important government's program and schemes that is working towards education, and in this the most important is Right to Education Act. So the year 2002 marked as a breaking initiatives जहाँ पे ये landmark 86 amendment लाई गई constitution में और article 21A insert की गई to ensure that every child has a right for full and elementary education of satisfactory equitable quality of the formal school that satisfies certain standards, right? So it's a very important steps by government of India, right? In 2002 this was there. तो ये सबसे रिफॉर्मिस्ट बेसिकली रही है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से इनिशिएटिव. This subsequently resulted in the formulation of a right to children for free and compulsory education, which was there in 2009, which gave a legal mandate to provide free and compulsory educations for elementary educations to every child whose age group between 6 to 40. Right? So this was the first important scheme. Second is Samagra Shiksha Scheme, Department of School और Education, Ministry of Education की तरफ से ये implement की गई effective from 2018 and 19. Now this aims to bring the gender and social category gaps at all level of the school, and the main objective is to provide education, right? The scheme reach out to girl, especially belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe minorities, के शेड्यूल कास्ट शेड्यूल ट्राइब के लोग हो, minorities communities या फिर transgender, ये तीनों communities को prioritize करके इसमें रखा गया. Now schemes under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. See, when we are specifically talking about the tribal people, there's a specific ministry in the cabinet, in the union cabinet, that is a Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So this ministry has also come up with some of the important scheme that is dedicated towards a tribal upliftment. So among them, the first for the education was acclaim model residential school. The school was approved with the union cabinet in the January 2018 for the establishment of 452 new schools based on the population criteria. That aims to provide quality educations to the tribal children. In environment, EMR school will be established in every block having more than 50% of the ST populations and at least 20,000 tribal population as per the census. So these are the criteria that has to be met before our school, that is the acclaim model residential school, is established. Second is the National Fellowship for Scholarship of the Higher Education for the ST student. The government financial assistance is being there for pursuing the MPhil degrees, PhD degrees in the universities, and also pursuing the graduate and postgraduate courses across the country from the top 246 institutions like All India Institute of Technology and All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Now, the National Overseas Scholarship is also there. Those individuals, those talented individuals who look forward to complete their education abroad. So under the ministry, the scheme were also there to provide financial student to 20 ST student every year for pursuing their higher studies abroad. Now, there's a provision scheme that is a pre-metric scholarship. ऐसे बच्चे जो कि क्लास 10th के लेवल पे हैं उनको सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम के थ्रू फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस दी जाती है for studying in class 9 and 10. This is called a pre-metric scholarship. Now there's a post-metric scholarship also, like as a post-metric scholarship है जो class 10th के बाद 11th और 12th के लिए दी जाती है. This is also a central sponsored scheme. Now support for the Tribal Research Institute. This scheme aims to strengthen the TRI to carry out research, documentations, training and capacity building activities known as Knowledge Hub for creating the overall tribal development, tribal museum and establishment under the scheme. Now for specific PVPG groups, that is a particular vulnerable and tribal group, इनके development के लिए basically to improve their quality and the quality of life, several initiatives taken like intervention in housing, drinking water, education, health, services, and promoting of livelihood and culture aspects are also there. Now, some major challenges for the tribal education. See, apart from all the government initiative, there are some challenges that is creating a hindrance, and which is making the program not coming to the fullest at the ground. So some cases में देखी गई है जो scheduled tribes हैं, because of their remoteness, habitations, lack of traveling facilities, insufficient infrastructure facilities, illiteracy of parents, communications problem की वजह से segregated populations, and are the primary constraint of the educational attainment of the children. And these challenges can be categorized as the following. We'll see what are the important challenges under several categories. So first is lack of adequate infrastructure in the school. एक मूलभूत सुविधा की अगर बात करें infrastructures को लेकर के, so it's not there, so they are deprived of the basic infrastructure development and amenities like toilets, school building, electricity, water, play area, library, sports facilities. These are not there, and these are not, even if it is lacking, it is something considered not as a conducive learning environment. Now the second is low learning level of children despite right to education act. कई ऐसी परेशानियां हैं जो कि evident है, and even the learning process that should be there for the children is not there. So as per the National Achievement Survey, it has indicated that only 42% children in the grade 3 are proficient in all subjects, which has decreased to 23% in class 10. So this is an astonishing fact coming from the report or survey, that is the National Achievement Survey. The third is the medium of instruction. ये भी काफ़ी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. जिस तरह से कमिटीज़ ने रिकमेंडेशन की थी कि वेनाकुलर लैंग्वेज या वहाँ के जो लोकल लैंग्वेज है, लोकल जो डायलेक्ट्स हैं, उन पे भी प्रमोट की जाए. So that was also the reason that the huge benefit was not being taken. A lack of teacher appropriate pedagogy. अगर बात करें वहाँ के टीचर्स की जिस तरह के पढ़ाने की तरीके हैं, उसमें भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा खामियां हैं, which has impacted the problem. And even the need for tribal student due to the communications gap, tribal studies students, and even deemed to have a slow learner from the fast. So it is very necessary, and even for the new education policy, that is a National Education Policy 2020, गवर्नमेंट ने ये इन्विसाज किया कि जो लोकल लैंग्वेजेस हैं उसमें भी एजुकेशन को प्रमोट करने की ज़रूरत है. Now the other article, that is the livelihood opportunities for the tribal. So tribal are the original inhabitants of the Indian Peninsula as per the census 1951, and the size of the tribal population was 5.6%. Now as per the census 2011, the population size has increased to 8.66%. The tribal inhabitant, the two distinct geographical area was Central India and the Northeastern region. Now, we'll see how the pre-independence has actually functions and how the post-independence go. So the tribal people before the invasions of the India by the Mughal and the British were considered as the equal part of the society, and the concept of private property began as the permanent settlement by the British in 1973. I think most of you must be aware of the permanent settlement. If not, do check it out. This is an important concept, right? Now, after which establishment of Jamindari system come to control over the territories, including the tribal territories also. Now, the tribal people involved in the agriculture continue to cultivate crop without official land ownership, and the British legislation and invasive policies affected the tribal habitations of the India, particularly the livelihood posting and challenges of the government independent India. Now looking into the post independence aspect, किस तरह से और चीज़ों को improve की गई है. The Constitution of India has provided for the several provisions for the welfare of the scheduled tribe, the welfare and development of the scheduled tribal areas. पंचशील पॉलिसी बनाई थी गवर्नमेंट ने 1952 में, which provide for 5 principles that is governing the administration of the tribal people, which include the 5 principles include tribal should be allowed to develop in accordance to their genesis. The rights of the tribal in the land forest should be respected. The tribal teams should be trained to undertake administration and development without too many outside being inducted and included at the same time. Now the tribal people or the tribal development should be undertaken without disturbing the tribal local सोशल एंड सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस। तो जो वहाँ के खास करके जो ट्राइबल सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनको किसी तरह डिस्टर्ब किए बिना वहाँ की डेवलपमेंट की जाए। Now, the index for the tribal development should be there for the quality of life and not the money spent. So, these were the 5 pencil policies that government has come up in 1952 itself. कुछ लाइवलीहुड ऑप्शंस की अगर बात करें रेलेवेंट इश्यूज के साथ, सो रियलाइजिंग द पेंसिल पॉलिसी, आर्टिकल 275 of the Indian Constitution mandate a special financial grant for the programs that is there for the economic and social welfare of the tribal populations, and the 5-year plan was also there by the government of India that has witnessed a substantial change in transforming the life of the tribal population. So there are consecutive n number of policies which were there starting from first of the financial, खास करके अगर बात करें जो पॉलिसीज बनाई गई हैं गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से 5-year प्लान में, तो फर्स्ट 5-year प्लान से लेकर के 5-year प्लान से लेकर के देयर आर नंबर्स ऑफ लाइक 9 5-year प्लान जिन्होंने इस पर्टिकुलर चीज़ों पे ध्यान दिया था, राइट. Now we'll be looking into important aspects like the programs and policies which is there for and also which call for the opportunities for the tribal. First is the marketing of minor produce through the minimum support price and the development of value chains. तो यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट ने कोशिश की कि एक सेफ्टी नेट प्रोवाइड की जाए और सपोर्ट की जाए ऐसे लोगों को, शेड्यूल ट्राइब की mass populations ko, so that the traditional forest dwellers would have a lively two options to depend on their collection and the selling of the MFP, that is marketing of the minor forest produce. Now this scheme ensures the fair returns to the minor forest produce, gathers through the minimum support price and identified MFP collections by them along with the necessary infrastructure at local level. Now, Van Dhan Vikas Yojana, the scheme aims for minimum support price and the development of value chain for the minor produce, targeting the livelihood generations for the tribal by harnessing a wealth of the forest. Now, the main objective of this is to tap the traditional knowledge and skill set by the tribal people and adding the technology and IT to upgrade at each stage and even to convert the wisdom into a viable economic activity. See, technology has transformed a lot. The first and foremost thing is to skill the people who is using and even to get out the benefit out of it so that the potential benefit is reaching out at the ground level. Now, equal support for the national, state, tribal financial development corporations. तो बेसिकली एक नॉन प्रॉफिट कंपनी बनाएगी जिसकी कोशिश ये थी कि कंसेशनल फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस दी जाए शेड्यूल ट्राइब के लोगों को फॉर देयर इकोनॉमिक एंड एजुकेशनल डेवलपमेंट. It assists the self-help group SSGs को to extend the financial assistance in setting up of a cost of SSG that is 25 lakh per SSG. And this also introduced a new scheme for the development of scheduled tribes such as Adivasi Shiksha Rin Yojana or also the awareness generation campaigns. Now, welfare for the tribes, we'll see what are the important schemes that government has come to ensure that there's a welfare in the tribal region for the tribal people. Now, India has a significant populations of the scheduled tribe comprising 8.61% of the total population according to the census 2021, and Madhya Pradesh has the highest ST populations followed by Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. So the tribal community possesses the most traditional and indigenous skill set, ancient wisdom, access to great natural resources which need to be harnessed. So ये states की जो ranking है ये आप ध्यान रखें. This can be important for the prelims examination. Now, looking into the part of Ministry of Tribal Affairs and their efforts, keeping in mind the geographical locations, culture, lifestyle, skill sets, ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी के बारे में मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्राइबल अफेयर अलॉन्ग विद बेसिकली अगर बात करें इनिशियल इंसेप्शन की मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्राइबल अफेयर की, तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट से इसको अलग करके मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्राइबल अफेयर बनाई गई ताकि एक डेडिकेटेड मिनिस्ट्री बने जो कि एसटी पॉपुलेशंस के लिए खास करके काम करे टू लुक इनटू द इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब. Now, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has functions as an umbrella unit for the overall development and well-being of the scheduled tribe people. Now, organization for the development of scheduled tribe. So there is the National Scheduled Tribe Finance and Development Corporations, सो दिस इज अंडर द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्राइबल अफेयर के काम करती है, जिसकी ऑब्जेक्टिव है टू बूस्ट द इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द शेड्यूल ट्राइब, and it strive to empower the ST population by creating a sustainable livelihood. And this cooperation is the collaborations between the state corporations, bank, workers, economic upliftment of ST people by providing concessional loan for various income generation activities. अगर कोई ST population के इंडिविजुअल है, उनको लोन चाहिए तो उनको एक बहुत ही मिनिमम या इंटरेस्ट फ्री लोन दी जाती है, ताकि वो अपने लाइवलीहुड ऑप्शंस को और ज़्यादा एक्सप्लोर कर पाए. Now, government scheme and initiative by also NSF, जो NSTFDC है उनके तरफ से, और क्या क्या स्कीम्स हैं. आदिवासी महिला सशक्तिकरण योजना, an exclusive scheme that call for the development of tribal women by providing them loan up to 90% of the projecting cost. Micro credit for self financial group, इनके लिए भी 5 lakh rupees maximum or minimum loan of 50,000 can be there. Adivasi Shiksha Rin Yojana, the scheme provide for education loan for the ST student to meet up the expenditure for pursuing technical and professional education, including PhD across India. Now, उसके बाद TRIFFD का नाम आता है, ये काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. ट्राइबल कोऑपरेटिव मार्केटिंग डेवलपमेंट फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, जिसकी स्टैब्लिश की गई थी 1987 में, टू प्रोवाइड द रेम्यूनरेटिव प्राइजेस फॉर द food, forest and agriculture produce the tribal people. It create and provide for the remunerative prices, and it play a dual role acting as a market developer and service provider, जहाँ पे empowering की जाती है ट्राइबल के नॉलेजेस को, boost their better skill operation systematically, scientifically, and also assist them in developing the market approach. तो एक ऑन हैंड एक्सपीरियंस होती है, ताकि वो अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को भी सेल कर पाए और उनको पता हो कि कैसे उन्हें सेल करना. It was a formally to provide a credit support for the livelihood creations. Now, there's a National Education Society for the Tribal Students. This is an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. It was registered as the society in the Society Registered Act of 1860 to establish, maintain, control, and manage the schools, and to do so, the things necessary for conductive promoting of the school education or the primary level educations. Now, there's a National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. This is something which was set up in 2004, amending Article 338, and a new Article 338 was basically there in the Constitution for the formulation of National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, right? And the main duty of this commission was to investigate and monitor all matter that is related to the scheduled tribe, and evaluate the working of such safe conditions to inquire into a specific complaint that is reaching out with the deprivations and the right safeguard issues with the scheduled tribe people. तो एक बहुत ही डेडिकेटेड एफर्ट थी शेड्यूल ट्राइब के लोगों को उनके स्पेसिफिक ग्रीवांसेस के लिए एड्रेस करने की. Now, scheme by the central government, logistic and market tribal produce scheme है. The scheme is specifically for the northeastern region that aims to develop the tribal entrepreneurship in the northeast, and it also strengthens the livelihood opportunities for the tribal artisan to increase the efficiency, procurement, logistic, and marketing of the tribal produce. Pradhan Mantri Janjatiya Vikas Mission. This envisages for the tribal entrepreneurships and initiative to facilitate the livelihood options for promoting efficient, equitable, self-managed optimum and use of the natural resources for agri, non-timber forest, and non-farm enterprises. Now, this was also redesigned through the merger and extension of the two extensive scheme for the promotions of the tribal livelihood, namely the mechanism for the marketing minor produce through the minimum support price, development of value chain, and institutional support for the development and marketing of the tribal produce. Third is the Vandhan Vikas Kendra. This Kendra was set up for the tribal cooperative development federations, जहाँ पे टारगेट की गई एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन की for the tribal populations by harnessing their wealth of the forest known as Vandhan. Now, this program of the tribal communities own the minor forest produce, that is the centric multi-purpose Vandhan Kendras are set up to the increase and significant for the tribal populations. Venture capital fund for the tribal capitals, venture fund के लिए भी company ने strive किया, and this is the newest initiative that is there for 2022 budget, and it means to promote entrepreneurials among the tribal populations and also call for the innovations and technology. The schemes aims to provide hand-holding for the incubation ideas, and it provide concessional financials to the scheduled tribe entrepreneur that will create wealth for the value of the society, right? It will add value to the society and also promote profitable business that is there for the people. नाउ देयर इज अ स्टैंड अप स्कीम इंडिया स्कीम है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जो फैसिलिटेट करती है लोन के तौर पे 10 to 1 crore rupees फॉर द शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट एंड शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब and the prime minister employment generation program was there, that is implemented by the prime minister employment general program to facilitate the generation of employment opportunities for the unemployed youth across the country and also set up a micro enterprises in the non farm sectors. Now, tourist potential in the tribal region, एक important topics है. You can even get essay on this topic. So let's understand how this topic is going to be relevant and what are the important components in this. So India is one of the largest and most diverse tribal population in the world. Almost 705 scheduled tribe के populations है जो reside करते हैं under article. This was ratified under article 342 of the Indian Constitution. Now, the population of the scheduled tribe is in the country as per the census stood up to 10.45 crore. Right, the total population है 60% of the forest cover in the country are found in the tribal areas, and this has to be notified that over 80% of the ST work are in the primary sector. Madhya Pradesh topped the list, as I've told you in the beginning. Madhya Pradesh की ranking highest है जहाँ पे 14.7% ST populations है, ST population है total. And the number of the tribal communities are also found in the Odisha as well as in the Jharkhand. Now, अगर बात करें particular vulnerable tribal groups की, this are total our group number is in India 75, and this group are scentless and the Jarvas tribes in the Andaman is also particularly a pre-agriculture tribe. Their character features include practice of hunting, gathering, zero negative population growth, and an extreme low level of literacy in comparison which is there. Now, the tribal tourism in India की अगर बात करें, tribal tourism refers to a form of travel which attracts tourism, right? जहाँ पे वो अपने tribal population, वहाँ के लोगों की जो authentic tribal population जो culture है, जो indigenous life है, उनको explore कर पाएंगे, उनके tribal habitat, उनके heritage, handicraft, culture, values को explore कर पाएंगे, and this will allow them to also expose to the village and completely experience a new culture. Now, in India, this concept is a nascent stage, and this was popular in other countries like Ethiopia, Kenya in Africa, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, and South America. Now, अगर बात करें एक specific populations की जो कि उत्तर प्रदेश से belong करती है, that is a Taru tribe. So, Taru tribe community live in the Terai foothills of the Himalayas and the lowland. The government of Uttar Pradesh has decided to promote the tribal population inhabiting in the region. And for the district of Uttar Pradesh, Taru tribe, there is something, the particular region that is residing close to the Nepal border has a maximum Taru population tribe. So आप इस population जो tribal population इसके बारे में देख लें, काफ़ी relevant है examination purposes के लिए. Uttar Pradesh government aims to offer tourism as an experience of the living to the natural Taru habitat that contains the traditional huts made from the material of the natural forest. And the aim is to connect the Taru villages that is near the Balrampur, Bharicha, Lakhimpur and Pilibhit border with Nepal, which is a homestay for the Uttar Pradesh Forest Department also. For those of you who are also looking forward for the UPPCS, उनके लिए भी ये काफ़ी relevant होंगे. Now, कुछ गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स की अगर बात करें और कुछ गवर्नमेंट की इनिशिएटिव्स. So, development of tribal circuit की बात की गई है. So, the development of tribal circuit which is there in Chhattisgarh also is as a Swadesh Darshan scheme, and this is under the tribal circuit project of the SDS. In year 2021, the government has come up with a national strategy and roadmap for the development of rural tourism, जहाँ पे आत्मनिर्भर भारत या फिर SWOT की अगर बात करें, strength, weaknesses, opportunity and threat analysis के लिए tourism population India में रखी गई. Now, Jashtpur in Chhattisgarh marked the tribal population under the Swadesh Darshan scheme that has been developed as an authentic tourism villages. Now, Zaka committee की formation की गई. So this committee look into the important aspect. बहुत ही important committee. अगर कभी भी आप tribal population के upliftment के बारे में लिख रहे हैं, even if in the mains examination, make sure you highlight about this committee. So the finding of the Zaka committee has impact of the socio-economic, health, and educational status of the tribal communities that gave the insight regarding the status of the tribal population in India. The protections of the development of the tribe are the two most fundamental issues रिलेटेड टू द कम्युनिटी. तो जाक्सा कमेटी की पूरी डिटेल रिपोर्ट आपको मिल जाएगी गूगल पे, चेक इट आउट. इफ यू आर स्पेसिफिकली प्रिपेयरिंग अ टॉपिक ऑन द ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज, मेक श्योर टू इंक्लूड द recommendations that was given by the committee, right? So this was all about for the compilation of Kurukshetra for the month of September. We have lot more other initiatives for you like daily news and editorial analysis, IS Gazette की magazines है, FCA, PIB, MPR and Gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra. These all initiative will help you to sail through the journey of civil services. If you have any other concern, do let me know. I'll be happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.